So as it stands, the Pixel 4 and 4 XL as the second most powerful devices in the current made by Google smartphone lineup, we think they deserve support for at least one more Android version. And here's why. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So here's the crux of the problem and the basis of our argument. The Pixel 4 is not like Google's pre-2021 flagships. Despite releasing back in 2019, the actual step down and realigning of the Pixel series with the Pixel 4a 5G, the Pixel 5 and then the Pixel 5a means that even though you lose out on super fast cellular 5G connectivity, the older handset from 2019, or both of those, provide greater under the hood power without certain compromises. So in the performance charts, the Pixel 4 actually sits just below the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro, and this leaves it in a strange position as the second most powerful device in the made by Google smartphone lineup, and it is set to get at least Android 13 as far as updates are concerned. That said though, the lesser 4a 5G, the 5 and the 5a, are actually going to be supported for a little longer per those update plans. Without fully comparing 2019's best with the late 2021 cohort, as we have done that already, and you can check that video out in the description below, the Pixel 4 series shares a lot more in common with the Pixel 6 than the Pixel 5, the Pixel 4a 5G, and the 5a. For starters, there's no confusing lineup, which means there's a little and large device, including the Pixel 4 with its Full HD Plus screen, much like the Pixel 6, and the Pixel 4 XL with a QHD Plus display, like the Pixel 6 Pro. Although the camera systems are quite different nowadays and are maybe not directly comparable, there is one major similarity between them, the inclusion of Pixel Neural Core. And this extra addition to these devices vastly improves on-device photo and video processing, and is actually missing on the Pixel 5 series, the Pixel 4a and the 5a. This actually means that the 2020 Pixel device lineup has a technically slower camera system despite utilising what is the same Sony IMX363 main sensor and practically identical software-based tuning, and that puts that in another weird position, making it easy to argue that the Pixel 4, and specifically the 4 XL, is a better device overall than the Pixel 5 series. It was only truly let down as a device by mixed battery longevity. Elsewhere, it elevated the Pixel experience with a smooth 90Hz AMOLED screen, playful design, and a trademark camera system that provided those excellent Pixel results, at least at the time. The addition of the Soli radar chip was an interesting experiment as well with the Pixel 4 series that has kind of ultimately failed on smartphones. It has led to more uses in other made by Google hardware like the Nest Hub 2nd Gen, but it does mean that you have access to a few truly exclusive gesture-based features that you actually won't find on other Pixels. From direct usability and daily experience perspectives though, Soli doesn't really make the Pixel 4, or at least elevate the Pixel 4, all too drastically above other Pixels. Face Unlock is also one of the sole inclusions on the Pixel 4 series, and it's a big differentiator that was initially touted as coming to the Pixel 6 Pro. It's not entirely clear if we'll ever get 3D Face Unlock tech back on a Pixel, but it is fast, accurate, and vastly more reliable than the in-display fingerprint scanners on the Pixel 6 series. We've seen no new software introductions take advantage of the radar-powered hardware, and that likely won't change anytime soon though, but it is a neat differentiator that does again make the Pixel 4 series stand apart from the rest. At least on paper, we've got to say the Pixel 4 series is a more attractive proposition than the Pixel 4a 5G, the Pixel 5 and the 5a. Forgo that 5G connectivity and you'll get a premium Pixel with a similarly great camera, the most recent Android update, fast Face Unlock, a good 90Hz AMOLED screen, and overall a more capable SoC. So realistically, that's a long way to say that while the Pixel 4 is not quite a flagship by 2022 standards, there is no lack of power available when comparing to previous generations and all but the latest and greatest. If the Pixel 5 and by extension the Pixel 4a 5G and the 5a will be able to run Android 14 in the future, then the marginally more powerful Pixel 4 should have absolutely no issues. On top of that, in recent years we've seen Google take conscious efforts and steps to increase the usage of recycled and sustainably sourced materials for the Pixel series and its own first-party hardware like Nest Hubs and so on and so forth. From optional cases to the heavy metals used within the Pixel line, these are all notable and important steps in the right direction given the ubiquity of tech in our daily lives. But if Google is truly serious about sustainability or indeed environmental concerns, then expanding the support window of existing smartphones like the Pixel 4, rather than focusing on new or upcoming hardware, is the perfect place to start. Increasing device longevity via software updates is also cheaper and more effective, or at least a more effective way of being a sustainability-driven tech firm. Google's prior work with Qualcomm to reduce the effort required to bring the newest Android releases to older chips means that this ability to provide monthly patches is going to be a lot easier for firms, but they don't seem to have applied that massively to their own lineups. Obviously, monthly patches will arrive in the final year in special circumstances, but the Pixel 4 series means that support would be highly warranted given its unique standing point within the Made by Google smartphone series. Realistically, being serious about sustainability means that shipping new products probably shouldn't be the number one priority for any firm. Naturally, that's going to be easier said than done, but the onus should be squarely put on brands like Google rather than the consumer, like me or you, for any real progress in this area to be made. And you're probably wondering, why should Google set a precedent for the Pixel 4 then? Well, I'm under no illusions that this request, this complaint, or this annoyance is likely going to fall upon deaf ears within Google's wider Pixel and Android teams. That said, with a supposedly growing user base and an avid fan base already, good product PR is always a reason to make positive changes such as this. With a smaller product pool, if Google is intent on tackling Apple in the tiny number of markets that the Pixel is actually sold within, then upping the Android support length would be a prime way to appease current owners and even entice prospective buyers. My own colleagues have attested to this previously, but with a focus more upon the Pixel 6 series. I think though, if you want a lasting or a long-lasting phone, then you're probably going to look for a Galaxy as a result of Samsung's update plans. Although in this isolated case, bumping support for the Pixel 4 and 4 XL would be a huge PR win, and one that logically makes a lot of sense. Sure, this could have some unintended knock-on effects, but the makers of Android, or at least the Android OS, has fewer excuses moving forward when it comes to device update windows, especially as Samsung will honour its own 4OS update promise even for cheaper devices like the A33 and the A53. Looking backwards and rectifying some confusing mistakes is definitely not a bad thing, and Google has backed itself into a corner in many ways, courtesy of a messy 2020 lineup. This leaves the Pixel 4 and 4 XL in a support quandary that is not unlike many other Chinese OEMs that are left high and dry when newer, shinier models are released. Hyperbole aside though, that isn't strictly true given that Android 13 will actually mark the pre-approved 3OS update schedule for the Pixel 4 and 4 XL. We've seen Android 11, Android 12, and soon Android 13. That commitment was absolutely fine back in 2019 when the device Duo hit store shelves. It's still though harder to justify that when other firms out there are expanding their update plans to match the Pixel, which is normally seen as the forebearer for Android as a platform. Specifications have never truly been at the heart of what makes the Pixel experience a special one. That said, the internal hardware on the Pixel 4 is above and beyond what you'll find on the 4a, the 4a 5G, and to a lesser extent the upcoming Pixel 6a. 6GB of RAM and a former flagship processor is the perfect combination with the lightest flavour of Android to truly shine. If Android 14 does have a minimum specification requirement, the Pixel 4 and 4 XL will certainly exceed it. For years, Apple's continuing support for older devices has really put all of Android to shame. Samsung's recent increased efforts to provide expanded support windows for its previous flagship lines should really trigger Google to act, or at least do something. And we think the Pixel 4 is the perfect place to start. I want to know though, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think this is a nitpick or just us being entitled? Let us know down in the comment sections below and try and keep it clean if humanly possible. As always though, this is Damien with 95Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.